So I was absolutely cooked. I was done, brother. You could have just looked at myself and be like, this type of guy will never amount to nothing, especially not when it comes to the ladies. I am fairly spoken, not born with the best looks, and I kind of had a glow up if you want to. But this video is also about more in-depth ways of how you can attract women, because most of the superficial stuff that we're going to talk about is only exactly that. The superficial tip of the iceberg that oftentimes isn't even that important. And I would tell you, all this looks transformation that I made, looking from somebody who's completely unfuckable to somebody who's very presentable, isn't even that absolutely important. In fact, it isn't, but it is. So stick around for this video. So first of all, guys, I want to tell you fucking confidently that I'm not the most attractive guy out there. And maybe you see that already. I don't know why, but there are some people who think that I'm actually very, very good looking. And I'm saluting my hat to you because thank you very much. But objectively, purely objectively, I had a glow up, so to say, yes, but I actually didn't change much. The picture that I showed you that's in the thumbnail is actually when I was already 21 years old, which basically means I was fully developed. My bone growth was done, and everything about me was and is still the same, to most extents. We can talk about the effects of testosterone on your system after prolonged periods of time, and yes, how this ages you in a way that makes you look more masculine or other ways, which we are also going to. And there's one very key concept here that I want to present to you, which I coin expression theory, which made me going from looking ugly as shit to somebody who's actually very attractive, which is not, and I repeat myself, not just the looksmaxxing side of things. I personally have a very deep-rooted beef with people that think that looks are everything and incredibly important. I do not believe that, even though I made a 180 degrees change from an ugly motherfucker to somebody who's, again, looking pretty damn well, okay? I don't believe black pill philosophy is right. I don't think that looks are everything. It's complete, utter bullshit. So if you're a looksmaxxer, black pill, whatever guy, and you want to beef with me, feel free to do so in the comments. But I'm going to explain myself very well here, why I think that looks do not matter that much. So the promise here is, I was pretty ugly and didn't get any girls. I became pretty good looking and now kind of have a lot of girls. So how am I contradicting myself here? In a very easy way. First of all, as I told you, nothing about my bone structure changed. I'm still the ugly motherfucker. I still, if you want to look very carefully, have a very, very underdeveloped jaw. It's unfortunate, but it's the way it is. I still have a fucking humongous, weird, rounded nose. I have other things going for me, alright? I have a pretty nice beard. I have hair still in my almost 30s, 29 by now. And I always think my eyes are really nice. I have some very nice green eyes. I have very attentive eyes and very engaged eyes. But this is also something that's already going past the whole looks type of thing, which again I coin expression theory, which we're going to get into. But first, let's get all the superficial bullshit out of the way that you guys probably think is incredibly important, that I personally actually thought for a long time is each and everything there is to attraction. It's not. How I changed my looks and how it incredibly benefited me. I became strong. I became big. I started grooming, meaning caring for my hair. I cut my little neck hair here, you know, keep my beard somewhat trimmed. Oftentimes I don't. Go to the barber sometimes, oftentimes I don't. I went through many different phases of many different hairstyles and many different variations of me. They all look kind of good. Some look better, some look worse. At the end of the day, it's always the same. I'm always able to attract women, and it's always kind of been like this. But going back again to the low phase of my life. In my late teens, early 20s, I stopped drinking alcohol, which basically meant that I was effectively unable to attract any women. Back in the days, I always used to get girls by going on parties and drinking a little bit. So in my early teens, 14, 15, I was actually kind of a player, you could say, you know. I was pretty confident, which went in my favor. I don't know why, but I just fucking felt good. I just loved life. I just loved being a teenager. It was so interesting, everything. I had such a zest about what I did that it didn't even occur to me that my looks could really hinder me. Although I was a fucking ugly motherfucker. But I also had braces, and I fucking loved the braces. I thought like, I'm the fucking teenage dream, and I'm gonna get some girls, and I don't care. And so I started drinking a little bit, so I got loosened up even more. But in my early 20s, late teens, I completely stopped drinking for health reasons. I just didn't want to. I thought it's pretty retarded. I thought I'd just quit it right here and now, and which was one of the best decisions in my life, but I was left pretty uncomfortable and unconfident, and I didn't know how to get any girls now, because my whole game was getting a little drunk and getting girls. So I was left to figure out what went wrong in my life, why I'm not attractive. And there are so many fucking factors, and to get, again, the Looksmaxxing equation out of the way, I started training, grooming, caring about haircut, and fashion. And that's all there is to motherfucking Looksmaxxing. If you got these things, you're there. Do you know Pareto's Principle? 80-20 rule, maybe you heard of it. Pareto's Principle applies to basically everything in every field of human endeavor. It means that 20% of the effort will lead you to 80% of the results. The remaining 80% of the efforts will only yield in the remaining 20% of the results. If you got looks, fashion, grooming, style out of the way, you're 80% there. And now if you spend the rest of the 80% with all your Looksmaxxing, thumb pulling, whatever the fuck techniques there are, improving your looks even more, whether or not it works is debatable, then you're just wasting away your potential and time. And I know what you think now, I know what you say, oh well, it's not everything, and I know it's not everything, and I concentrate on the other things. I don't think you do. I don't think you really have that much mental capacity left to be a fucking all-out baller and do every little bit of skincare routine there is and whatever the fuck. Get your diet to the point where you have zero bloat and still have mental capacity left for actually important things in life. I don't think that's the case. You can debate me on that, and I would be open for debate, and there are some odd cases in which, yes, you might have more time, but exceptions prove the rule. If you ask me, I would rather take all this time that I have left and invest it in more important things. And there are so many things in life that are just so much more important. And apart from life, okay, dating. This is why we're here, right? There's so many factors playing into dating that are so much more attractive and important than fucking looking good. I love to take myself as an example because I have no skincare routine. I wash my face. That's everything I fucking do. I don't use certain shampoos. I don't use this. I don't use that. I don't fucking care. Because back when I was a kid, my generation thought that all of this shit is fucking gay as fuck. And now looking back on it, or looking at what the new generation does with all this Looksmaxxing Blackpill bullshit, I still think it's the fucking same. And I wouldn't want and appreciate to think that if it wouldn't actually manifest itself to be the case. I get girls, the girls really like me, and that's all there is to it. Not saying it's not important, it's crucial. I would even say it's the first most important step you have to do. But don't fucking overthink this. Don't go too deep into the whole thing. Get your style right, get your body looking good, get your health in check, stop smoking, don't be a dumbass and, look worse than you have to. Get your sleep right, okay? You have to look presentable enough. The rest of what you're doing is better invested in other areas of life that matter substantially more. It's an iceberg, everything in attraction. Even me as a man who's super visually directed, if I see a girl and she's fucking beautiful, she only has to be beautiful enough. And if her personality is there or not there, I'm interested or I'm not. That's all there is, and I don't care about anything else. And here's the catch, it's so much more true for women than for men. Women do not give a flying motherfuck about how good you look, apart from the initial interaction. If you're a handsome dude, you're well built, kept after yourself, that's all they need. They don't care about your whatever the fuck tilt or whatever the hell there's going on in your face. And again, I would almost argue that I'm not looking good. I don't have a good facial structure. I don't have strong cheekbones. I don't have a strong jaw. I have a fucking whatever the fuck nose. It's okay. I don't think I'm ugly. I would almost say I'm below average when it comes to facial structure. But here is where we get into the more important meat of the video. What I coin expression theory. It's nothing really new, but it's something that I just figured is so much more important than looks. And it actually makes you look a certain way. When I talk with my friends about what I look like and how I look like, not that it happens often, but if they start to compliment me, or not even my friends, the girls I'm talking about, one thing I notice often is they don't even talk about my looks. They talk about the way that I carry myself. And you can think about it like this. Your body, your face, is an instrument. And this instrument is played by somebody. And this somebody is your personality. The whole extent of character that is living within you. In addition to that, it is the way, yes, basically, that you carry yourself. How do you make use of what you're given? It's the card that you're dealt. You can make the cards look nice and shiny as much as possible, but that's not the most important. It's how you fucking play your cards. If you're not an interesting person, if you're not a wholesome individual, if you're nobody who's very multifaceted, you will only attract girls that aren't either. And I don't care about you, but I'm not into that at all. Whatever you might believe, most girls are socially very intricate creatures. They've all their lives just been interested in social structures, hierarchies. All they do with each other is talk all day long. They're not that interested in things as us men, okay? They don't care about it. We're interested in skills, business, accumulation of wealth and knowledge and whatever. They're really not. If you're not able to have a complicated personality that they A, can't grasp, B, aren't really able to understand that easily, and C, always find new pleasure in, good luck being the handsome motherfucker. And again, we can talk about all these things with a very heavy grain of salt, meaning you will be able to fuck a bunch of girls if you're good looking, if you max out Looksmaxxing. But the chances are extremely high that most girls will find you extremely boring and bland. They will fuck you, and maybe you even fuck well, but if you ask me, it's about more than that. And the quality of fuck is also heavily influenced by the complexity of your character and personality. If you have a good chemistry with the other person, which is ultimately a personality thing, locking in with each other, then you're gonna have a good time. If you're just some random dude who doesn't even like the girl or doesn't even like himself because he's too obsessed with his looks and doesn't really think that maybe his low self-esteem is related to other areas of life, then I don't even think your sex life will be that good. To go a little bit out on a tangent here, I think you have to build yourself up as a person in many areas of life. And my advice to you is the same advice that I followed naturally, listening to myself, is invest your time and energy into other things that are not that related to looking good. Do you see this shirt? I have 8 of these shirts. You can't see my pants right now, but they're just black shorts. This is the exact dress I always wear on every date that I go on. I don't have an intricate style at all. I'm super simple in the way I look, and that's all I need. You know what also is true? The instances in which I looked the best. Berlin, maybe like 2 years ago, I invested in super nice clothes, had super nice lush hair, a little longer, like all these motherfucking Looksmaxxers suggest. Nice style, well groomed, perfect fucking skin. And every time I looked in the mirror, I was like, you're so handsome, man. I really made it. I really got maxed out there. Everything is so looking great. And then the moment I stepped away from the mirror, it was back to my internal state of how I fucking feel without knowing actively that I look good. And self-confidence is not reflected in how you look. You can look like the fucking model himself and be a dumb, uninteresting, bland individual. And most of these guys that care about looks so much are exactly that. The rest of the 80% of the Pareto Principle, 80-20 rule, that you invest in looks, will occupy so much in your fucking mind that you won't be able to have any interesting conversations. And now imagine you pull out this type of personality when you're with a girl. The girl thinks you're a superficial piece of shit. That's all there is. And it's annoying as hell. So if you're that guy, and you're gonna become that guy if you care too much about looks, oh, this Gonian tilt angle, whatever the fuck, my nose, or how do I get this 1/3 of a percentage of bloat out of my face, girls are gonna reject you on a deeper level, even if they're gonna fuck with you, because they're superficial as well in many instances. But nobody will fucking respect you that is interested in business or whatever. You're just insecure, you don't know where it's coming from, and you don't know the way out, and now you hold on to these fucking Instagram influencers with 20,000 followers because they have these body face transformation videos, and you're fucking in their trap. They have nothing more going from them. They attract a bunch of insecure little boys who think, oh, maybe I can be the type of guy, maybe I can have the craziest transformation ever, maybe I can go from cooked to a beautiful model looking motherfucker. And then you start this shit, and it's a never-ending repeating cycle of dumb insecurity that's perpetuating itself. So true confidence comes from competence, as you probably all know. Competence is earned, it's worked for. Everything else is arrogance. And maybe you can get through with it. Maybe you have a bunch of yes men. It's gonna fucking piss the right people off, and you're gonna mess up your chances with the right girls as well. Yes, I'm fucking beefing with that shit. Because guess what? I was one of the OG motherfucking Looksmaxxers. I was one of the first people who got into mewing. And maybe I'm a little salty because it simply didn't fucking work for me. But I've basically been mewing and typing my mouth while I sleep and breathing through my nose and working out and doing all this bullshit since a decade now, and it barely helps at all. Probably because I was already grown up and my skull structure was already set in place. It does have its place and it does help in certain instances. I do think it's good for the overall health of your face structure, but it's not gonna turn you into a supermodel. Chances are, brother, I'm a videographer and photographer. I've met so many models, and they're boring individuals that I don't want to be around. Of course, if you have a handsome person next to you, it's pretty nice to be around that person. But as soon as that person opens the mouth, you're gonna think to yourself, yeah, can you leave, bro? Can you just go somewhere else and annoy other people? I always think the best example is Andrew Tate. And yeah, of course, we can debate of whether or not he's the savior of young men or not, but I just think he's the best example for exactly that expression theory. The good old Tate speech days. He was one ugly cunt. Crooked fucking teeth. No beard. Slobby hanging neck. But the way he was able to express himself, the personality he was portraying outwards, the way he used words, phrases, vocabulary, the way he was able to conduct himself and express himself in a super captivating manner made him the person he is. Not the Bugatti, not this and that. He was a phenomenal speaker, a world-class orator, and that's what got him his attention. He is one of, if not the best that I've ever heard, and I'm not just in this weird-ass manosphere bubble, okay? I've barely, if ever, heard a better speaker than him. We can debate about the content, but that's not what it is about, okay? And that's how he became famous. Yes, he fixed his fucking teeth, grew a beard, got some nice clothes, but he's still a fucking ugly cunt back in the days. All his attention was captivating ways of expressing himself. And he is the best example because he was legitimately ugly. Just become a more well-rounded, interesting individual. This is something you should care about far more than your looks. Obviously, go to the gym every day, every other day. Get your physique in check. Don't be unhealthy or whatever. I think you can really lose yourself in the tunnel vision of looks matter. And I was there as well, especially because I thought I was fucking ugly. And to some extent still think that, but it doesn't fucking matter because it's just the way I look and I got used to it. And the way I express myself is way more important, and the way that girls give me affection in return is way more important as well. Bro, girls just like me in many instances. What are we doing all this shit for? To look good for the girls. Same with guys. Guys just fucking respect me because they see I put the work in. They see I got experience and expertise. So what else do you need? There are just so many things that girls don't care about. Another thing, this is really the last tangent here, it's the way I smell. Oh boy, don't get me started. I noticed on many instances that girls tell me that I smell really good. You know, it's just like out of the blue, they just tell me, you smell so good. And I didn't really realize that up until some time ago, that I actually don't do anything to smell good whatsoever. In fact, I probably do things you should avoid. First thing, I oftentimes, actually basically never take a shower before I go on a date. And you think to yourself, whoa, why not? It's like, bro, I took a shower the day before I go to bed. I'm kind of clean, yeah, maybe sweaty, whatever. In the evening, I'll take another shower anyways. I don't want to take 3-4 showers. Also, it won't change anything. Like, I personally, subjectively, never thought that I smell. I just don't want to stink, and that's fine. And when I used deodorant back in the days as a youngster, like everybody does, I was just not feeling good. You know, I had this... It was itchy under my armpits, bro, and I didn't fucking like it whatsoever. And then at one point I even had like inflamed hair follicles down there, and I thought it was from that. So I just stopped, and I never used perfume anyways, because I don't know, I smelled it at my friends. I was like, yeah, I guess you smell super intense, but I don't want to smell like this. And I also never liked when girls use too much. I don't like it, man. I like your natural smell as a person, so I just adopted it into my own philosophy and just fucking never cared about it. And yet girls tell me I smell good. Listen to this. I don't take a shower. I don't use perfume. I don't take deodorant. We're arm in arm, and she just goes back, oh, you smell good. And I'm just thinking, I guess, bro. I'm smelling like myself, like my pheromones, like my testosterone, whatever. And I don't smell like no chemical bullshit, alright? Oftentimes, bro, Berlin, best example. I'm always riding a bike in Berlin. When I'm going on dates, Berlin is a very big city. I'm basically riding for like 20-30 minutes to get to the date. No shirt, fully fucking sweating and drenched. Or I dated a girl after going to the gym. Same fucking story. Didn't take a shower, or was at the beach all day. Even went into the water like a dirty fucking dog. And they end up telling me I smell good. I'm literally having dried salt stains over my body because of all the sweat that I went through. We can debate what or not this is. I think it's just having like healthy hormones, so it reflects in the way that you express your pheromones or whatever. I'm not an expert. I don't really care that much. I just know it works. And I wouldn't even care if they didn't say that I smell good. I just don't want to smell like shit, and that's all there is. Another thing is pimples. It was actually funny. In my early 20s, I had such pristine skin because I was a vegan, I think is my theory. And I cared a lot about health, way more than I do now with all this stuff and supplements that I ate. And I wasn't in fucking Southeast Asia where the air quality is absolute garbage and I sweat all day. But it was perfect. And I don't know, it felt good. And there were instances where it was absolute terrible here, and it never really got back to being perfect again. But I don't care, brother. It's good enough. Yeah, I might got a pimple. I'm confident, even though I get a pimple here and there and there. I know who I am. I know what I like. I know what I appreciate in life. I know how to make myself happy. I know what I want to achieve, and everything else doesn't fucking matter. And you know how I came to this conclusion? When I looked at my friends, when I looked at girls that I was interested in. One of the recent girls I dated had like acne scars on her cheeks. And I was like, yeah, it looks pretty nasty if I'm honest. But apart from that, I liked her a lot. She wasn't even that beautiful if I'm fully honest now. Like, she wasn't ugly by any means. And in my friends, same. Like, I think my homies are fucking handsome motherfuckers in their own regards. They're maybe not like top models and they have something here, something there, wherever, like something's not perfect. I don't care at the end of the day. Like, do yourself. And as long as we have good, stimulating conversations and everything is fun and we grow together as people, that's all there's to it, brother. And this goes beyond dating and whatnot. But let's put this into perspective. What are fucking looks? They reflect like how healthy you are, okay? What genetic makeup you have. And if that's good enough, bro, if you take basic rudimentary care for yourself, then nothing more is required. Get this out of your head, that looksmaxxing is so fucking important, and you gotta become the next David Beckham or whoever the fuck is out there in the internet looking like a motherfucking model with this perfect jawline and Gonian ankle tilt or whatever the hell there is, guys. As someone who was very obsessed with his looks at some point, trying to get the best out of it, let me tell you, yes, please care for yourself, but don't fucking look in the mirror for hours every day. You know what? I have basically fully stopped looking into the mirror because I know it doesn't really reflect on how I feel internally anyways. Like, I can appreciate it. I can shave my beard in a certain way and then be like, yeah, you're good to go, looking good, looking fresh. It's the way you express, carry, and like and appreciate yourself and your life and everything you do. If you're not fully convinced standing behind who you are and what you do and what your steps are that you take on the daily, then my friend, you have a bigger underlying problem, and looksmaxxing, mewing and thumb pulling and castor oil won't fucking fix that. So, on to the next video, my friend. Thanks for watching, and I wish you all the fucking best.